Alright, so this is my overview of the Kite Runner, The Everlasting Guilt and Journey for Redemption by me, the best person in the world. Anyways, here's my summary. Pretty much, growing up in Kabul, Afghanistan has its perks and downfalls. Amir, and a young Pashtun boy, struggles with the acceptance of his father and friendship with his servant, Hassan. Upon living in the battlefield of war and guilt, Amir and his father Baba migrate to California, Fremont, California, to escape the dangers of the war and start their lives over. Throughout the book, Amir continues to have haunting memories of the winter of 1975 and struggles to stay afloat in the sea of guilt he is immersed in. His search for redemption comes to an end once he travels back to Kabul to rescue Hassan's son, his nephew. Through much pain and discoveries of lifelong secrets, Amir discovers tranquility back in California and raises his nephew through the eyes of his brother Hassan. Alright, so I found some irony in the quote, "Now, no matter what the mullah teaches you, there is only one sin, only one, and that is theft." Basically, this is the quote that Baba is telling Amir about his views on theft, and I found it very ironic how he's saying, where is it? If you tell a lie, you steal someone's right to the truth, and when you cheat, you steal the right to fairness. Do you see? Now, this is ironic because right now Baba is keeping the truth about Hassan and Amir being brothers a secret, and after all, that's stealing them both of the truth, if you want to be all technical and quote unquote. If this would have been revealed in the first few chapters of the book, then this whole guilt issue could have been resolved immediately. But I found this very ironic how Baba has this view of honesty but chooses to keep this secret from not only Hassan and Amir but Ali, his best friend, too. The next literary device is symbolism, and I'm not going to be the one that does the cliche kite runner thing. Like, the kite is obviously a symbol, but we're going to do the pomegranate tree too, because that is when they carve their initials, or I guess they carve Amir and Hassan, the sultans of Kabul, pretty much the kings of Kabul. Now, this is pretty much the sealing of their friendship, their relationship. The tree itself resembles their relationship. And when Amir goes back to the tree after Hassan's death, he sees that the tree doesn't bear any fruit anymore. And this will remind him of when he pelted Hassan with all the pomegranates just to provoke him to hit him back. Only resembles a reflection of the guilty past memory. But the tree not only symbolizes a unifying force between Amir and Hassan, but it also serves as a source of division. The next one is foreshadowing, and this is when Amir was looking at Hassan and he saw two faces, the one he knew and the second face, the one that just lurked beneath the surface, is the one that's right here. It says, "It just appeared, this other face, for a fraction of a moment, long enough to leave me with the unsettling feeling that maybe I'd seen it someplace before." This is foreshadowing, if many people didn't understand. I didn't get it until I read it through, but it's actually foreshadowing when Hassan and Amir are actually brothers. It's like when Amir says he was looking at two faces, he wasn't just seeing the Hazara that Hassan was, quote unquote, but he was seeing himself, his equivalent. That is why it made him so unsettled when he was like thinking about it. He was pondering it, and he was saying, "I've seen the face before," and I put perhaps maybe Amir, because I mean, after all, they are related. So that was my interpretation of the foreshadowing. Now for metaphor, this is the last one that I found. It was when Amir was helping Baba get dressed. It said, "I helped him in a clean white shirt, nothing the 2 inches of empty space between the collar, but thought of all the empty spaces Baba would leave behind when he was gone." So this is a metaphor. The space between Baba's neck and the collar of the shirt resembles the emptiness Baba will leave behind when he dies. This shows how Amir is so reliant on Baba to get through life. Now, I took this as a whole like big puzzle piece put together. The reason why Baba was so harsh on Amir throughout his life was to prepare him for when he's gone, when Baba dies, when Amir is on his own. He's going to be apart from guidance and support, and to be all tough like this, it's going to take, some time. Alright, so this is the text to self. I chose text to self because, as much as I'm not willing to admit this, I feel as if Amir and I relate to each other through the aspect of gaining our father's approval and love. Like Amir, I've spent practically my entire life trying to earn my father's respect. My father does love me, so don't get me wrong about that, but it seems as if him and I never established a strong father-son relationship like most people. And like Amir and Baba, my father and I harbor secrets from each other, and it would bring clarity and even benefit our relationship if we were to share them with each other. With this in mind, I was able to empathize with Amir in his fatherly situation. May it not relate in some degree, I still made this connection. It helped me read the book a little more clearly and understanding the struggles Amir had when attempting to gain his father's approval. Um, I also made the connection. I don't know if it's legit, but from the short story Hills Like White Elephant, a couple tries to decide whether or not to um, choose in the dire situation to keep a child or to abort it. And they're faced with this choice, and it's a life-changing choice. I felt that the girl in the short story can relate to Hassan in a way because they both never were given the chance to make a decision for themselves. The woman was listening to her partner, and Hassan followed Amir's orders. This wasn't a friendship, and this definitely wasn't a relationship, because both of them weren't given the opportunity to make the decision. The woman most likely aborted the child and followed her partner's authority, while Hassan never spoke up about Amir treating him poorly or sacrificing his physical and mental health just for the sheer sake of Amir's reputation. Like, why would someone sacrifice all that, getting raped and all this, just to get a kite for their best friend so they will have the acceptance of their father? I don't think Hassan really knew that. That's what he was trying to do, but his lifetime devotion to Amir just proves how loyal he is. It's just phenomenal, and I believe that he was never really given a choice to, you know, choose for himself. Like, he could have not gone to get that blue kite, and this whole rape situation could have been prevented if he had had a choice. But I know that he chose to do that, and it was just the friendly thing to do, or so he thought. And for the setting, I pretty much generalized it. It's a story that took place between 1963 and 1981 in two countries, Kabul, Afghanistan, and California, USA, if you want to get technical, Fremont, California. Um, the setting to this book is quite significant, but because it can act as an analogy to the relationships among the characters. The war in Afghanistan could resemble the tension between Amir and Hassan, or Amir and Baba. When Baba and Amir fled to California to escape the war in Afghanistan, the shift in setting resembles the renewal of Amir's life. He had left behind all the guilt and pain from Kabul and started over, or so he thought. By transitioning to a new place, he wants to block out and bury, if I'm being quote, he wants to bury everything that went on in Kabul and just start over, start fresh, as if it never happened. He left everything behind, and he never wanted to go back. I also wrote that the book was written within the time of the Soviet invasion, and the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, causing much mayhem and forcing many to migrate elsewhere, like the USA. So the next one is my favorite quotes. Okay, so I know this is cliche, but for you 1,000 times over, this quote stood out to me more than any other quote, only because it shows pure devotion. It allows the reader to fully grasp Hassan's loyalty to Amir, and it reveals his true character despite his poor treatment. And the I'm 38 years old and I just found out my whole life is one big effing lie. Okay, with the omission of the curse word, this quote evoked much emotion when I read it, only because it acted as an epiphany to Amir. Without this quote, I believe the revealing of the secrecy in the book wouldn't be so climactical. Um, time can be greedy, or time can be a greedy thing. Sometimes it steals the details for itself. This quote about time and one that many, including myself, can relate to because it states the moment when time flies when things are happening. You don't realize how much time has passed when you're stuck within the past. So like when you focus on something for so long, you don't realize that you're not living in the moment, in the present, and time is flying by. You're missing beautiful things. And so time is a greedy thing. It's taking things away from you. If you don't live life to the fullest and create memories, time is just going to be a waste. That's pretty much what that quote is, and that's what I got out of it. So, and the next one is, better to get hurt by the truth than get comforted with a lie. Now, this one honestly hit me hard, purely because of the truth it exclaims. By telling the truth, one may live an easier life instead of carrying a burden, which is the lie, with them for eternity. If you just settle the lie and just tell the truth, you won't have to live with the guilt, which is what Amir did for the entire rest of your life. And it literally, like, the search for closure or redemption may never come your way. You may never get that opportunity. So, by telling the truth and getting it done and out of the way in the first place can help, and you won't be stuck with a lie. Alright, so here's one of the unique discoveries that I found, and it is the kite flying and running. I mean, it is a tradition in the Afghan culture, and it combines sports and art. Um, it actually has been a part of the culture for more than 100 years, and it's still going on to this day. They fly kites because it gives them something to do during the autumn season of the year. It is a way to unite everyone since the Taliban, and most people, mainly the children, of course, enjoy the sport because it gives them a sense of satisfaction or power when they cut other kites down. Now, the running of the kite is also done by children, and most adults keep their kites. So, like, if their kites are cut down, usually they're handcrafted, so it's another cultural aspect in Afghanistan. When they craft their kites, they put so much work into it. They put so much effort, and they literally pour themselves into the making of this kite, which is why it's so important that they keep it. Now, people keep their kites and usually hang them around the dwelling because it is an art to them. It's what they feel. It's their colors. It's their shapes. It's literally what they feel, and that's what they fly. Now, I said you can connect this back to the book when Amir is dead set on getting the blue kite because he viewed it as a pathway to his father's acceptance and pride. So what he went through, all the struggles and all the things, even the rape with Hassan, he still took the blue kite and gave it to his father only just to keep that reputation, to get his acceptance. And it's literally, it just shows how much the kites mean to these people. And the link is an excerpt about the culture of kite running and flying in Afghanistan. It's actually really interesting. I would definitely encourage checking it out. It also tells more about the art of flying, and it also talks about when and where and how it originated, and it's actually really interesting. I'd definitely check it out. Now, my final analysis, pretty much, in my opinion, the book was very frustrating to read, and it's not because of the difficulty, it's just because of the actions that Amir had. Like, he was a very frustrating character. I mean, I've wanted to throw the book so many times. The plot of this book, it's really redundant because it could have been prevented if Amir would have just told an adult like Baba Ali or Ram Khan about Asef raping Hassan. Now, if this would have been done, the whole book would have been like, there wouldn't have been a book. But I found the book to be interesting, and it had many tear-jerking moments complete with twists and turns. The only downside was having to do research about the culture and vocabulary that was used throughout the book for a better understanding of the plot. I know the vocabulary was quite atrocious, and I really didn't understand most of it, which I understand why Miss Mullins made us do a bunch of research on it. If I were to rank the book on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it an 8. My reasoning being the difficulty of the language used and the frustration I acquired while reading it. My opinion rests with Amir being a very immature, selfish, and weak person with poor decision-making skills. He may have redeemed himself in the end, but he's still a very selfish person, and throughout his life, I just can't, you know? But this is my final analysis. This is my PowerPoint slide. Hope you all guys enjoyed it. Alright, bye. Good night.